Hey everyone, I'm back, and if you didn't know, on the 4th of July, happy 4th of July, by the way, I hope everybody had a nice holiday. If you could manage it, things going on, not that kind of channel. Anyway, um, Stranger Things Season 3 came out, and I watched it, binge watched it all 4th of July, and I have a few thoughts about it, so I decided to come on here and share it. And hopefully you guys will share your opinions and thoughts too. Agree or disagree, I don't know, but let's discuss. Before we get started, I'm going to say that this is very spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. See you back in 9 hours. Now, the first thing that I have to get off my chest is the fact that Mike and Eleven make out a lot in this season, which is understandable considering all the things that they've been through and that they were separated like pretty much all of season 2. I can't really remember season 2 that much. Secret, I didn't like season 2 that much, but like this whole making out thing just made me very, very uncomfortable. We kind of watched Mike and Eleven grow up, and the fact that they do it so much is also just really gross. Like, I don't know. I just felt really uncomfortable by it. I don't know if anybody else did. They even pointed it out in the show. So I'm sure the directors knew that it was going to make people uncomfortable, but it was kind of like a necessary evil of sorts, I guess. But I just thought it was completely unnecessary, if you ask me. Like, maybe 1 or 2 times, but was not feeling that at all. Moving on from that, I thought the first 2.5 episodes could have been condensed, or either that or just like cut out a lot of the fluff, because there were like a lot of different storylines going on, which I liked, but there were a lot of scenes that kind of just felt like they were thrown in there just to be like, oh yeah, let's just throw this in there. It's not going to really progress the story much, but it's something that maybe the fans will appreciate, which I'm sure some people probably did, but I didn't. Like, season 1 for me of Stranger Things was really good just because the pacing was good. Like, we got some characterization, but we also progressed the story forward while we were doing it. This season does do that, but we see a lot of like stagnated kind of momentum as far as I'm concerned, where it's just like we're sitting around eating chips, looking at each other like, so what are we gonna do? I don't know, what do you want to do? Like, things like that. Or I feel like, okay, nobody's signed up to watch somebody just like be indecisive for 20 minutes. Like, we're here to see some strange things, not some teen drama whack crap, which if I wanted to see that, I could have watched Riverdale, to be honest with you, but that's besides the point. All I'm saying is I think the pacing was off in multiple parts of the season, to be honest with you. But that's not to detract from all the storylines and stuff, which I thought were really good. Once we got towards like episode 4, maybe towards the end of 3, things really started to pick up, which I thought was good, because the season really needed that momentum, because it felt like we knew something was going on, but nobody's really doing anything about it. Which, Will, I'm going to come after you later, but because they didn't acknowledge some of the things that were happening, I felt like the momentum was like awkward at times. Because like, oh yeah, something's happening, oh my gosh, and then somebody's like, wait, should we really care about this? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, something's happening, you need to go do something like right now. So it just felt very like abrupt and confusing to me, like the different ways that they had also cut in the series. That's another thing I didn't like. Or not series, excuse me, the season. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, let's say you're watching a Transformers movie and like Optimus Prime is flipping through the air and he flips past the camera and then it cuts to somebody eating pizza. It's like we went from something so awesome and then it's like, what is this? Why are we here? So I felt like there was like a lot of that until we got to the very end, where of course if they were just like to cut off the pacing then obviously people are just going to be like, what the heck is going on? Earlier on in the series, it's like we're still kind of building stuff up, so it's okay to slow down momentum, but it's the same thing. Like, if you hit the brakes all of a sudden in a car, you're just gonna slam your face on the dashboard and you're gonna be like, what the heck happened? Versus slowly decelerating the car and then coming to a stop. That's all I'm trying to say. Besides that, I thought the separate storylines were really good this season. I think there were at least 3 or 4 that were going on. And all of them contributed to the story in their own way, which of course I was expecting because that's just the way the film industry is. You connect all the stories together. But the way that they connected, I wasn't expecting. So I really liked the kind of unpredictability of that. Like, for example, one of my favorite storyline is with Dustin and Steve kind of discovering, oh, the Russians are up to something. When Dustin intercepted a Russian message that was actually a code. I thought that was going to go not in the direction that it was going. I knew it was going to relate to the Upside Down and trying to do, like, release all the darkness or whatever into the world, but I didn't think that it was going to. I don't know, it kind of just put, like, a spotlight on Dustin and Steve that really just made me, like, it was very entertaining. That's all I can say. It was just very entertaining. I really liked it. My least favorite part of the season has to be Will and his whole, like, neck touch thing whenever he feels the like, monster near him or the monster's doing something. And I don't like it because he went probably 3 or 4 episodes without even really acknowledging it, or he acknowledged it himself, but he didn't say, hey guys, like, something's wrong, like, we need to talk about something, like, something's not right. He would just keep it to himself, which is weird behavior considering, like, all the stuff he went through season 1 and season 2 and everything that went down. It's just weird that he wouldn't say anything. Like, he was in denial pretty much for a very long time, which made I could understand being in denial a little bit, but not saying something or at least, like, expressing your doubts, that just didn't make sense to me. I didn't like that part at all. That and the fact that every single time he got the little, like, will tingle thing, he had to touch his neck. It couldn't have just been like a, ooh. It was like a, oh yeah, I feel it. Like, he always had to touch it. And I was thinking, like, maybe there's an alien or something back there that's, like, crawling around. He's, like, trying to touch it to see if, like, it's actually an alien. But it's literally him every single time doing this. Like, I don't know why he has to slap the back of his neck just to confirm, yes, this is the monster going on, not just an itch or a rash. It's the monster. That was just hilarious, but also, like, infuriating in the same way, because I just didn't understand why you had to do it every single time. And then my awestruck moment was when Hopper actually died. Right up until the very end, I didn't think he was going to die. I thought some way he was going to get out of it, because he's been pretty close to death in seasons 1 and 2, and he's managed to get out of it, but this time was different. It felt different. It was just, no words for that. That's just, it was a really good scene. I really did like it. If he was going to go out, then I would have preferred it was that way, because it was a very heroic death. It was fitting, and it came at the right time for him, I guess. Because we already know his story, and we know that he's trying to raise 11 now, and he was kind of starting to decline a little bit in season 3, but then he ended up, like, rising back up, and then to have this heroic death at the end, it just felt very, just felt right. It was a good move on the director's part, or the writer's part, excuse me. And then to have the letter at the end, just like a letter to Mike and 11 explaining all of his feelings and how he really felt. I thought that was, it was giving me, like, I Love You 3000 kind of feels there. That was just really good. I don't know if they took a note from the Avengers in that. Probably not, because the writing team probably thought of it, like, long before anybody had seen that movie, but it was just a really good moment, just like in the most recent Avengers movie. And then the thing that makes it really interesting is at the very, very end, if you saw the scene after the credits, which if you didn't, you honestly should have, because you can fast forward. It's Netflix. It's not like you have to sit at the movie theater for 20 minutes like in a Marvel movie, but you get to see a scene where the Russians they have people in captivity, and they walk by one cell and they say something about an American. So a lot of people, including me, kind of think that that nods towards Hopper possibly being alive, which I don't know how, considering he was blown to dust and would probably, I don't know, like floating him in the air as particles at this point. But if somehow he managed to make it, uh, I don't know if he would be connected to the Upside Down and all the other monsters and the deme-dogs because they came back too, or if he is going to be like he was before. In which case, what did that ray actually do? So I don't know. I guess that's something for season 4 to kind of figure out. But that was an interesting little nod, and I don't know. I don't have enough information to kind of make a theory on it. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So if I were to rate the season 3 compared to the other 2 seasons, I would definitely still say season 1 is at the top, just because it was the setup, it was good pacing and everything. And then season 3, the pacing was still a little off, but the story was there. It was good. It's coming back from. It felt more like season 1 is what I'm trying to say, because season 2, I just did not enjoy season 2. Like, it just felt off to me. The story was still, it was fine, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like season 1 did, which is pretty common among these types of shows. But if I were to rate it out of 10, I would probably give it a 7. It was pretty good. I would recommend watching it if you haven't already seen it. That's going to do it for my rant on season 3 of Stranger Things. I appreciate everybody who watches the videos and likes and subscribes, all that kind of stuff. If you want to start a discussion down below just about your thoughts about season 3 or what you think might happen, just any kind of things about Stranger Things, you can go ahead and leave them down there. We can start some conversations, different things like that. It'll be fun. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Alright, so that's gonna conclude the end of this video. So I hope everybody has a nice evening, morning, or night. Whatever it is, enjoy it, and I will see ya when I see ya. Peace.